So we are going to work on analyzing data with Panda DataFrame. Yes. When you, let me say, basically when to data science, to data analyst, I think the most important package in Python for a data analyst is Panda, because Panda is being used a lot in data analysis, and we are going to do an example today. Panda has been used a lot in data analysis. Maybe there is a survey, maybe you are trying to ask people, okay, maybe for instance, maybe you are looking at how many people actually make use of your platform, right, in a year. And for instance, in this case, in this example we want to work on today, I think this example is a review gotten from different people that make use of different game platform, right? So they are trying to ask people, okay, what is your opinion about PlayStation Vita, Xbox 360, Macintosh, iPad, all those kind of response. So when you give your questionnaire to people, they give you feedback, right? And when they give you feedback, and this is what most companies, especially companies like Apple, Facebook, Amazon, even WhatsApp, and even what is it, Walmart. That is exactly what they do. And I know when you go to Walmart to buy stuff, at the end of it will ask you to give a review. Do you enjoy? They will ask you to score your satisfaction to what you've bought, or to how easy it is to work with their system. So they ask you things like that. So at the end of it, at the end of the year or quarterly, they bring together every reviews, right? And they send the reviews to their data analyst and say, okay, of all the products people buy in Amazon, how many of them are people satisfied with? You understand that kind of thing? So they ask them, okay, how many are you satisfied with? How many of it are people give bad comment? So what I'm saying in a nutshell is, as an expert in data analysis or an expert in Python, you have the opportunity of helping people to analyze their data, right? An example of that is what I have here. You see, they have different people that contribute. People give it's called phrase. Okay, like this person said using on this platform is amazing. This person says great. Can you see that? So people give to the website where they perform, where they have their game, the platform, what type of platform game are they? Okay, PlayStation, iPad, Xbox, Macintosh, PC, PlayStation, all the rest, right? And people also give score, you understand? And a lot more. And even the year. So they also ask them for the year of the release of the game that they were using. So what I'm saying is we can also get data from TSU. Let me just use TSU for instance. Okay, they can say, okay, in P1 to P5 and 5 pharmacy students, we want to get a response from you since you've been in TSU. What are your concerns in terms of maybe the way your professor teaches you, your professors teach you, the way exam is being set, so they can ask you to write a review. You understand? For TSU. Okay, so let's say from P1. So how many students are really satisfied with what you are doing in P1? How many students are really satisfied with what you are doing in P2 up to P5? They can also ask you to give your comments. So when they collect such a data, the collection of data is one thing. This basic thing is to extract information from that data. So as a data analyst, right, it is your role to say, okay, TSU, all data you have gotten, give it to me. Let me use my Python understanding and data analysis understanding to analyze this data and get you a lot of information. So one thing is to get data. Another thing is to be able to extract required information from that data. So for data analysis, one of the prominently used package is this data called Panda. Panda. This data called Panda, right? So it's called Panda. It is used for analyzing data. It is used for analyzing data. It's used for extracting information from a set of data. So from data given to you as a data analyst, You can tell TSU, okay, from what you have given to me, I think people in P1 to P3 actually like the way TSU is taking the program. But from what I'm seeing, people in P4 and P5 don't really like it. Maybe because they are more of in the hospital rotation than being in the classroom. So it is your role to look at your data from your analysis to say, okay, this information is what I'm able to extract from the data you've sent to me. So that's that. So one thing to do is to first of all install your Panda, right? So let me take us to our Anaconda. Sorry, 1 second. To the Anaconda. So there are different ways you can actually install Panda. Now, if you come to this place, you see this is what I have here. These are the list of my installed package or my Anaconda, right? If I should click on this, I can ask to give me all. So all these ones that are not tick, I've not installed them, right? So if you want to install package on Anaconda, you can come there. Let's look for Panda, right? And click on it to search for you. Panda. You'll be able to give me Panda. Sorry. Okay. So you see, as I'm doing that, as you are typing it, it's giving me suggestion for, can you see, they are different type, but the one that we are interested is actually the Panda. Yeah, this is it, Pandas. So it's high performance, easy to use data structure and data analyzing tools. Can you see that? So because I have installed this, that's why I have this tick, right, on my on this. But if you have not installed it, all you need to do is just click on it. Okay, let me use an example. Let's say I want to install this now, right? So can you see the moment I click on it, it gives me this drop. Can you see apply? So if I want to install this particular software, once you click on on the package, you come to this place and you click apply. This will automatically install whatever package you want to install on your Jupyter notebook, right? But I'm not interested in this. I'm just saying if you are working with Panda and you don't have it installed on your laptop, you can probably go here and do that. So just go to your Anaconda, type pandas, and look for pandas. Click on it, then you can click on it. It will give you apply on this side. Then you can do that. I hope that is clear. So that's one way to install softwares. There's also the pip install software. So if you have pip install, you can just type pip install, then you put the name of the package in front of it. So, but today, we are working with Panda. Another thing I also want to say is, let me separate this. Let me separate this. Give me 1 second, because these are two different things. Okay, Control X. Okay. Now, so one thing about, once you've installed, so whatever you do in the Anaconda, you've installed the package, right? So anytime you want to use the particular package that you have installed, you have to import. So import package, right? So the first thing, because if you already have it saved in your Anaconda, but you have to import it anytime you want to work on it. So in the same manner, so to do that, all you need to do is import space pandas. Now, because we'll be using this a lot, right? It is good to always, instead of just typing pandas, you understand? For a very, it's very long. You can decide to say, okay, import pandas as PD. Do you get my point? So import pandas as PD. You can say, okay, import pandas. Anytime you want to use that pandas for any function that has to do with pandas, you have to type the pandas in full. But if you say import pandas as PD, that means you have represented pandas as PD. You can decide to say, okay, PA. PS, import pandas as either P, or you can call it P, you can call it PD, you can call it PN, you can call just N, you can just assign anything. So when you want to use Panda, you don't have to type the full Panda. Now, that's fine. So the first thing to do is to import, right? We successfully import Panda. Now, let me show you something. Now, this is the data, right? So now this, what you want to do now is we got this data from gaming. Let me say, we got this data from a game country, right? A game company. Like saying, okay, these are the games that people play on our platform, and we have gotten their review to give us, okay, which of these games do they actually like most? People give their review. So when you get this kind of review, they will put it. It's either they save it in CSV file, or you help them to save it in CSV file, right? So once they send it to you, now they ask, okay, we are giving you this as a data scientist. Help us to extract information. How many of our games do people really liking so much? How many of them do they like most? Is it the fighting game or the puzzle game or any other game? So you'll be able to tell them, you'll be able to extract information from this data in a way that they themselves couldn't extract from the data. So until you analyze data as a scientist, then you can say, okay, this data you are showing to me, I can tell you from this, for this year that you are giving me this data, your people actually like playing Xbox 360 a lot on your platform. And from what I'm seeing, people don't really like playing PlayStation. I'm just giving that an example. So when you give that kind of feedback to the company will be like, okay, people are playing much Xbox 360 on our platform, but less people are playing, what is it, and PlayStation. So what do we do? For instance, so they can say, okay, that will help the company to improve, right? And say, okay, maybe there's something we should do on the PlayStation so that you can encourage people to play it more. So you as a scientist, you are providing information from the data to the company, right? And the company is using your information to also improve their services. So this is the data now, right? So analyze that. You have to can analyze that on your you can analyze that on your on Python, right? And you can use pandas, like as pandas, to do the analysis. Now, the first thing now is to, once you have it, is to, okay, the first thing is to import your data, right? And the review they sent to us now, what is the name of the review? It's called IGN underscore 200 underscore reviews. That's the name. Your name can be anything. The name can be anything, right? Now, once you do that, then you have to, so now when you want to read a CSV file with Panda, there is a panda.read underscore CSV function. Import your data with pandas CSV reading function, right? Function. So there is Panda CSV reading functions, and that is so, and that is called panda.read underscore. That's let me put it here. This is function pandas dot read underscore CSV. That is the function. Anytime you want to read your data, a data on your local laptop, right? And you want it to be shown on your Anaconda, on your Python Jupyter notebook, you use panda.read underscore RSV, right? So that's what you're going to use. Apart from this pandas.read underscore RSV, if you also have it in Excel, there's also Panda function for Excel. So I think it's going to be pandas.read underscore Excel file. So Excel, I think it's really exec or something like that. So If you also want to have this for document too, it's panda does read underscore doc. I think docx, something like that. So you can read about that. So if you want to do that now, the first thing now is to import our data. And to import it, you have to assign a variable. So the variable is reviews, right? So you can give it data, you can give it any name. So what you are saying now, review equals to now panda dot read underscore rsv. Don't forget, because you have imported pandas as PD, that's why I'm using PD. I didn't only say import pandas. This part is not there. We have to write pandas dot read. But because I already import pandas as PD, I assigned a short letters to it. So pandas dot read underscore rsv. Now that's that. Then you open a bracket, right? So in the bracket, you have to go to your local system, your local directory. Let me come back to this list. You see, this is my data. You have to go and copy the part, and you can do that by doing this. So that means this file that I want to work on is on drive C user slash kehinde.idowu slash desktop slash lib food 23 now slash the file name. Are you getting me? And that's exactly what I did here. So you put in inverted comma to see that's from. So you are giving the address to Python that okay, the data I want to use, is on drive C of my laptop under users. In users, go to kehinde.idowu. In Idowu, go to my desktop. In desktop, I have many files, but go to lib23. Lib23, I have different files also, or different data. I'm interested in IGN underscore 200 underscore reviews. So by the time I send this data, I'm going to send you this data and this script to you. So you have to be careful. Make sure you change your directory wherever you have your data saved. Because if you have a data saved somewhere else and you are using this my own part, this is called directory part, it's not going to work for you. So you have to take note of that. So once you do that, just run this script, right? So we run the script, right? Now look at this. So automatically we have imported this. Now, when you want in pandas, when you want to review, when you import as a data scientist, the first thing to do for you is to look at your data, right? You have to look at your data, right? Look through your data, right? So our data here is reviews, right? So to to check the first 10 data sets, right? So when you want to look at, okay, now, so if you want to look at now in this data, if you look at, let me show you this. Can you see this from this down, right? Now, if you want to look at your data on Python, if you want to look at the first 10, right? You put reviews, the name of our data dot head. What you are saying is from the top, the head, give me the first 10 data. And when you run it, sorry, it will give you the first 10. Don't forget, it's going to start from index 0. This is the index. So this is the index 0, 1 to 9. This is the the data keys, right? Unnamed, score phrase, title, URL, platform, scores, gen, editors underscore choice, release underscore year, release underscore month, release underscore day. Do you get that now? So that's that. Likewise, you can also if it's possible for you to type reviews, right? Dot head, and don't put any number in it. if you didn't put any number in it, it will by default give you the first five of your data. The first five. So you can decide to indicate that, okay, let's see, we want to look at the first 20 data now. Reviews dot add the first 20 add in bracket 20, right? Let's run it. Can you see? It's giving us from 0 to 19. When you want to look at the first 20, so it's good to always look at your data. Okay, this will give you a kind of to be familiarized with your data. It gives you that kind of information. So another thing is this. You can also look, if you want to look at the last ones. So look at the top one is head. Look at the last ones. It's going to be tail. Reviews dot tail. So if you just put dot tail, no number, it will give you the last 5. Can you see? The last 5. So from 126 to 200, the last 5, right? So if you indicate the number of the last 5 that you want to check, dot tail, right? Let's say we are looking at the last 10. Can you see? It's giving us the last 10. So there are different ways you can look at your data. So, but today we are going to see how we can look at how you can have a look at your data using pandas. This is called, what we have here is called pandas data frame. So this is a data frame. So if you have a data frame like this, it is easier for you to compare one column with another column. So let me show you this. So now this one like this is called row. This is 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 row, 5 row, right? But this way, then this column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. So it's always good to know this when you are working with data frame. So we have row and we have column, row and column. You understand? So you can compare row to row, you can compare column to column, right? So I've shown you, don't forget, I've shown you how you can check the head. Either you want to see the first 5, the first 10, the first 20, or you want to see the last 5, the last 10, the last 20, using head and tail function respectively. All you have to do is put the name of your data, right? Because don't forget, we input that data as review. So if the data you are working with is talking about age, you can set to name your own data age. So let's continue. So do you have any questions so far? Any question from anybody?
You said there were reviews in colons?
What do you say?
Reviews in colons?
Reviews in columns? What's it?
Yes. You said colons?
Yeah, this is colon. This is colon down.
Okay, columns. Okay.
These are the rows. You understand?
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
talking about, yeah, I'm just talking about the data.
Uh-huh.
So this 199, these are the rows, like this: 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows. Then these are the column. This column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, like that.
Okay.
You get the point? Yeah. So that's what I mean by that.
Okay.
Any other question?
Sorry, sir. I wanted to ask, how do you download the pandas on my...
Yeah. To download Pandas, you just need to install pandas. And let me quickly go that. Go to your Anaconda, right?
Okay.
And once you go to Anaconda, just come to this site. Type pandas. As you are typing it, the
Okay.
pandas, it will be suggested for you here. Make sure it is in all.
Hey, Ken, we can't see your Anaconda screen.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me see if I can quickly share that with you guys. I thought I had. Okay, let me just give me 1 second, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott. Let me go. I thought nobody said anything. I thought you guys are saying it. Just give me 1 second. Okay, can you see my Anaconda now?
Yes, that's good.
Okay, so make sure you change this to all, right? And once you change it to all, type whatever package, maybe Anaconda or anything. Maybe either NumPy, Matplotlib, whatever package. But in this case, we are working with pandas. Pandas, you see, as I'm typing it, it will be suggesting anything that has to do with, as I'm typing it here, this place will be suggesting anything that has to do with P. So as you pandas, as you see, as you can see, this place is, that side is changing. So pandas, right? Can you see? So once that is done, you just scroll down. This one is the Dango pandas. Oh no, we don't want that. We only want the one that says pandas. So scroll down. Now, my own case, I already have pandas installed. That is why it is tick green. You see that check, right? But in your own case, if it has not been installed, it will be like these other ones, right? On my screen. So all you need to do is, for instance, if this is your pandas, for instance, just click on it. When you click on it, it will give you an option down here. Can you see? All you need to do is click on apply. When you click on apply, it will automatically install Panda on your notebook, on your Jupyter notebook. Do you get my point?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So that's that. So once that is being done, let me go back. So let me share my screen again. So once you have installed that, so anytime you want to use Panda, you have to import. You understand my point? So what you do there is to install. But anytime you want to use that package, you have to import the package. So in this case, we are importing pandas as PD. So that's why we use, for this function, we use pd.read_csv. So, and once you do this, you have to put the directory path of where your file is. Right? Someone should please mute. I see my voice echoing. So that's all we've done. So we've looked at how you can look at your this thing is called pandas DataFrame, right? So let's go. So we have talked about how we can look at the head and the tail of your data frame. Another function I want us to look at is what is called shape. Shape, it will tell you the number of rows and number of columns that you have in your data. Okay, can you please, somebody, who is that? Please kindly mute, please.
No. All that put together lets us create a collage. No.
Okay, I think I've moved the person. If the person is free to mute. Now, so let's say you want to say, okay, how many column, how many rows do I have in my data? In my data structure that I'm working with. So you can check that by putting reviews, that's the name of your data, .shape, and that is what I have here. So what this is telling me is I have 201 rows. So row come first, comma, column. So rows come first, followed by what? Column. And if you look at the numbering starts from at 200, right? But because of the key, this area, right? That's why we're having 200 and 201. So we have 201 row, 11 columns. So let's go and let's count the column. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that will give you an information about your data. So what we just did there is to understand our data frame, right? So we know the number of columns, the number of rows that we have. You can check through, okay, the first 10, the first 20, the first 50. Just put the number you want to check in that review.add in space. So in this, that review is because that is the name I'm giving to my data. So the name you give to your data will be important. So if your own data name is maybe data_h, so it will be data_h.add. And you put, if you put the comma, it will give you the first 5 by default. But if you put number in, it will give you the exact number that you put in. So I hope that is clear to us. So because it is very important when you are analyzing data using Python to be able to look through your data before you even start working on them. So let's continue. What I want us to look at is indexing. Yes. What I mean by it, you may want to have a subset. You may want to look at different area of the different data sets at a particular time. What I mean is this. If you look at this data I have here, I have from 191 to 200. I have all these. You may decide you may think, okay, I also want to look at the data for only the editor choice only. You may want to look at that, only that alone. So to do that, you have to understand how you can use different pandas functions to look at different part of your data. So let's go. So I have here, say either earlier we use the head method. Yes, remember the head method and the tail method to print the first 5 rows and the last rows of the review. That's our data. We could accomplish the same thing using the pandas.dataframe.ilock method. So the ilock method allows us to retrieve rows and column by position. So you can get the row and column at using the row or column position directly. So in order to do that, we need to specify the position of the row that we want, the position of the column that we want as well. So if you want to look at a particular row, at a particular column, you have to specify the row number and the row number and the column number that you want to work with. So let's look at this. This is reviews.ilock. Now, what this I have here, don't forget, do this. The first information is going to be on your column. Let me do this. Now, the first information here, this first one is the row. Now, column, then the next one is the column, right? So row, column.
Can somebody ring me up, please?
What is it?
Ring it up.
Please, can you please mute, please? Now, this is row and column. What this script is saying is, I want you to go to ilock, right? To tell you to review. Print out
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I have to mute that person. So print out row 2, right? And column 3, right? So what I'm saying here is, print for me every row on this row 2, right? So let's go back to that 2. If you go back, let me do the first for us to be able to review. Right. So this is the index numbering 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm saying is, go print for me row 2, right? And that's what it's so row 2, and I'm saying everything. So that's why it's only giving me these 2. Can you see? Only these 2 from here to the end is given to me. Now let's specify more. Let's specify more. Yeah. Now, so let's now see ilock, right? So let's say we are going to row 2. Do you get that? And we say, okay, start from, let's say start from column 3 to 5. Let's see the difference between these. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Now, what? Yes, sorry. I think, okay, this is okay, let's use this. Now, look at this now. What I'm saying here is, so you can specify your one. You can specify, if you look at this example, I only specify row 2, right? You can decide to say, okay, I want you to start from row 2 to, let's say, row 6 or to row 10. Maybe your interest may be, okay, I just want to look at the result from row 6 to row 10, right? Now, so this is, when you have this 2, that means going to start from row 2 and stop at row 9. Don't forget, because it won't take the last number, comma, right? Now, another thing you can do is you may only be interested in a particular column. Maybe you don't want to look at all the column, right? So let's assume we want to look from title, right, up to release month. Are you getting my point? Title to release month. So this is going to be 0, 1, 2. So it has to be from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's go and specify from 2, right, to 10. Because don't forget, if you put 9, it won't cover that. Let's see. Can you see? So what this means is, we are saying Python, it is print us the result from row 2 to row 10. And don't forget, 10 means it will stop at 9. Don't forget, it starts from 2 and stop at 9. Now, that is then also we are not interested in looking at all the column. We don't want to look at all the column. We're only interested in looking at from title and stop at release month. So, and that's why we specify column 2. And don't forget, if you go back here and count this 0, 1, 2. Title is column 2, right? 2 up to column 9. And for you to include column 9, that's you have to make it 10. Because if you put 9 here, it will stop at release year. So you may want to look at different area of your project. You understand? You may want to look at it at any given time, to look at different aspects of your project at any given time. You may want to do that. That's not a problem. But you should be able to understand how you can manipulate that. So, and if you look at this that I'm showing you now, don't forget, look at the first example. This is row, this is column, right? So for you to specify, so when you have commas, okay, no, sorry, this is no, I'm looking at this, okay. Sorry, yes. Now, this is what I'm saying. You can specify from what column, from what row to what row do you want to see, and from what column to what column do you want to see. So what separates the row and the column is the comma, right? Now, to show that you are moving from one row to another, row is this column, right? To show that you are moving from one column to another column is this column. Do you get that now? So let's go back again. Let's go to this example that I have now. What this is saying is this. Review, you want to look at row 20, right? From row 20 to row 26. Don't forget, it won't cover 27. So show us results from row 20 to row 26. And when you have this comma and there is no number, what you are saying is you want it to show you every column. Every column. That's what we want you to show. Because we do not specify any number. And that is what is, can you see, from 20 to 26, every column. Now, let's now see now the same example. We have 20 from row 20 to row 26, right? Now you are interested in looking at column 6, column 2 to column 4. Don't forget, we only put 5 because if you put 4, it won't cover that. So column 2, 3, and 4. So don't forget to roll this, roll 20 to roll 26, then column 2 to column 4. And if you run that, that's where we have this. Can you see? Column is from 20 to 26, right? So the roll is from 20 to 26, and the column is from 2 to 4. Can you see? This is 2, 3, 4. Why I'm showing this is there may be time for you. By the time I have a project you want to do, right? There will be need for us to do this kind of thing by making some subset of whatever of the things we'll be working with. Now let's go. So now this is showing you title, URL, and platform. What that is saying is there may be need for you in your course of analyzing the data to extract certain part of your data and probably save it in a new format, in a new variable, right? You extract it, you save it in a new variable. So for the subset, I already have from the first 5 rows, the entire row. So I just put additional functions apart from the one we just mentioned. There are a lot of ways you can do this manipulation. I just put just few of them here so that we can try it also independently. Another example is this 27. So when you put comma and there's not all this 2 is for the row, and you put only comma and there's nothing for the column. Once you didn't specify the column number, that means you are interested in showing all the column. And that is exactly what you see. If you look at this one, 20 to 27, we specify the column that we want. But if you look at this one, 20 to 27, but we do not specify the column. If you do not specify the column, by default, Python is going to show you every column. Every column. The same thing happens. Let's try this. Let's show, don't let us show row now, but let's show column. That ilock, right? So let's say we do not have, we didn't show any column, right? But because let's see what it's going to give us. Let's say 2 to 6. Sorry. Yeah, I suspect this because it won't be able to. Yeah, it's not going to work because don't forget we have a lot of rules. It won't be able to show us all the 200 rules. So let's just put 2 here and see. Okay. So we just put 2 here. Come. So let's say 2, 6. So can you see? So we said from row 2 to row 5, then from column 2 to column 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you see that now? So you should understand this index. Don't forget, it will start from your first number. The last number is not going to stop on the last number. It will stop on the number before. So when you put 5, it's going to show you up to 4. When you put 6, it will show you up to 5. Don't forget that. So that's that. So indexing using label in Python with Panda. So we can also do, we have what is called label. Yeah. So now that we know how to retrieve rows and column by position, it's worth looking into the other major way to work with DataFrame. In fact, I can tell you if you are working with DataFrame, it is easier. I think Scott Rook has testified to this. It is easier to work with a DataFrame than to work with a NumPy array. Yeah, DataFrame is easier to work with than for you to work with a NumPy array. It is easier. So with a DataFrame, you can do plotting of graph, a lot of things, because DataFrame is easier to work on, to manipulate, and to do work better than you working with NumPy array. I'm still going to probably touch that NumPy array later, just briefly, before we go into our major drug discovery and using this Python that we are working on currently. All I'm just doing now is I'm just trying to lay bases so that by the time we get to our major project and I'm trying to do some data manipulation, you will be like, I don't know, what are you doing? I'm just trying to lay this emphasis now. So another fun way to work with this is to use the pandas.dataframe.lock method. Yeah, which allows us to index using label instead of position. Yeah, they can use instead of in the ilock we use position, right? But in this case we can use label. We can displace the first 5 rows of reviews using the lock method like this. Now it's almost, I don't really see, it's almost the same thing. The ilock and the lock is almost the same. I'm telling you, it's almost the same because you still have to show the label. You still have to show. So let's look at this now. If you look at this, what they are trying to do here is they are trying to show a review.log, right? Show us column 0 to column 5. Now, this is the difference. Yeah, I think this is the difference now. In the ilock is using index, right? Index now. So it's 0 to 5. This one is going to print from 0 to 5 for you. Unlike ilock, if you put this on ilock will show you 0 to 4. Now I'm going to, so this is for lock 0 to 5, right? Space. And I told you if you do not specify for the column, that means you want it to print all the column for you. And that is exactly what you are seeing here. So let me show you one major difference between this and the ilock. I want to show you. No, I want you to. So let's use ilock let's use the same command for ilock. Review.ilock, right? So let's use the same thing for ilock 5, colon. Now, can anybody spot the difference between this? You can see the same description is what I give to them. The only difference is this one is lock, this one is ilock. Can anybody show me the difference between these data? Can anybody show me the difference between these two? What major difference you can observe between these two places? Don't forget, it's the same script. Can you see the same command? But the difference is this one is lock, this one is ilock in terms of the command, right? But look at the output. I want you to look at the output. This is the output for the lock. This is the output for the ilock.
ilock does not have the 5, and the one that has lock does in the data.
Sorry, again? Come again?
The first one goes from 0 to 5, and then the second one goes from 0 to 4.
0 to 4, thank you. Because for the ilock, it works based on index. Index start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And for ilock, when you put 5, it's going to stop at the first 5 index. And because it starts from 0, the first 5 index is going to stop at 4. It goes out from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But ilock will start from, it's not going to work on index. It will work with the label. And this is the label. Now it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you start from 0 and stop at 5. So that's the difference. But every other command, every other thing is the same. That's just the difference. So when you are using ilock, remember ilock we only start from index 0 to the second to the last of the number that you specify. But when you work with lock will start from the number you specify from the number you specify to the last number you specify. So let's go. So we also have what is called keys. Keys are the headings. The M is just say the headline, the headings. So in this case, if you look at the key, they are unnamed, score under phrase, title. So that's what you call. You can just put that function is there. Now you can now the lock now. Okay, another thing, yeah, another difference between the lock and the ilock is this. Under the lock, you can, instead of using the position, when you want to work with this, we have to specify 1, 2, or we don't specify anything. Now in this lock, you can, instead of putting score, let's go to score. Score is 0, 0, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you want to do this with lock, you have to put 5. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Reviews dot ilock. So I'm just let's start with ilock 20:27, right? Comma. So now we are interested in score, URL, and release month. Let's go and look for the index of this one. URL is 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's 3, right? Up to now. If I use ilock, there's no way I can only work with URL or and release month. Because if I want to do this with ilock, I will have to say, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. So that would be 3, right? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's 10. Can you see? But one good thing about lock is instead of specifying the index, right? You can specify the label. This is what you mean by label or keys. This is what you mean. This top, all this label, they are referred to label, right? So now you can specify. So instead of using this number that I just used here, you can specify score, right? So let's look for another thing to put apart from score. Let's put title. Let's put title. So let's say title also. So you don't want to do that. You have to because they are string, you have to put it in double comma title. Is it small letter? It has to be exact. Okay, small letter, title, comma, right? Space. So title. So you want to check for only title, or URL, and release month, right? That's all we want to check for. So click on it. Can you see? So with this ilock, you can just specify the exact label that you are interested, right? So that is another difference between the ilock and the lock. So from this, we only said, okay, for the from 20 to 27, we are interested in title, score, URL, and release month. So those are the little things. Now, another thing about this is you can save this particular one as a whatever in subsetting that you are doing, you can save it as a new variable, right? You can save it as a new variable. Let me first of all start with this. So let's say we want to save this particular one, this review ilock stuff that we have. You can say, okay, let's give it a name. Let's call it reviews. Let's call it review 2, reviews underscore 2, right? Equals to, so we are interested in the result of we are interested in 20 to 27 for title, score, URL, and release month only. So reviews dot log, right? So dot 2027 comma, right? Another colon. So put title space score space URL space release underscore month Do we get that now? So when you run it, so we have saved all this old thing into a new variable. It doesn't affect the original reviews, no. But all this information we've done a kind of subsetting. Now let me see what is in this review now. Let's see what is in review _2. Can you see? So we extracted this particular column and label, this role and column. Then I will give it a new name called reviews 2. So you can do the same thing also with not only with lock, you can also do the same thing with ilock too. If you look at this, let's do sum_review equals to review.ilock. So we are looking at from role 20 to role 19. Then we want to see all the label. That is the information that this means. So if you run it, can you see from 10 to 19? And since we didn't specify the column, that means we want to see all the label. Can you see? So we have, in addition to the review that we start from, we now have reviews _2 and also have sum_review. So as you can subset, you can extract the data from your original data and save it somewhere else. For instance, now, when you are working with the data and you want to calculate the percentage, or you want to calculate the square root of a particular column in your data, so you can calculate the square root of that column, and you are going to save it in a new variable. So you just have to make sure that you use the right labeling. Any question so far? Any question? Is this straightforward? So I'm showing this because whether you are using whatever data you are working with, whether you are working with results from the hospital, anywhere you are working with, you must know how to manipulate, how to do manipulation, how to view your data on Python. Not only on Python, on any data, and even R. You must know how to do all these things. How you can subset, how you can extract data from your original variable or original data and create a new data and put it in a new variable. You must know this. Yeah. So the same. So now, even from this some variables, you can still do some settings. You can see from this we have ilock. Look for. Sorry. So ilock is going from colon 9 to 20. Why it's not giving? Yeah. Okay. Can anybody tell me why we put 20 to 21 for sum_reviews, and we're only getting for 19? Why? I says, okay, print for me from colon 9 to 19, sorry, to 20. But the result I have is only giving me 19. Can anybody give us the reason? Because of time, let's go and look what is in some review.
Is it because of the zero indexing?
Yeah, not because of that, because if you look at our review, the sum review, this particular one, sum review, it only starts from 10 to 19. So there is no 9 and there is no 20. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This is the original data for sum_review. It only starts from 10 to 19. So when I say print from 9 to 21, 1, there is no 9. It only starts from 10. 2, there is no 20. So the only one that falls within this range is only 19. And that's why it's giving us that. So let's go further. So, but if you use lock, because this is ilock, don't forget, I said ilock is working based on indexing, but lock works based on labeling. And that's why lock covers everything. So you should be able to know the difference between the functions of this ilock and the lock. So any of this, any question? Another thing that you can also do is looking at, you can also look at a particular label, right? You know what we have been doing? We have been putting all of them together, looking at the row and column. We are looking at the row, we are looking at the column. What about if you want to look at the result for maybe for scores only, or for platform only, or for gen only, or for release only? That what you do is what you want to see. You want to save it, right? Yes, it's possible. You can say review, then the bracket in column score dot head. So this one is going to give you the first 5, right? So let's say I want to save a new variable now. Let's say I want to save, let's say I call it reviews underscore score. Now I want to save all the score data into a new variable equals to, I will say, so don't forget the score that I want to save is in review. That's why reviews always come first. Reviews score. Now, so what I've done now, I've saved everything that has to have every information on score. I've saved it in a new variable called reviews underscore score. So let's go and see what is in reviews underscore score. Can you see all the informations, all this from 1 to the last? I've saved it as a new variable called scores. So let's say, for instance, now I want to perform a mathematical operation on this score only. This score, I can say, okay, it will be easier for me to do and say reviews underscore score, right? Let me multiply. Let's see if it's possible, multiply by 2. Can you see? So now I've been able. Can you see how I'm able to work on this score only? So now I've multiplied by 2. Can you see? The first one is 9 multiplied by 2, 18, 17. Can you see that? Can you see that? So this, if you know how to save different column and different rows of your data frame into data set, it will be easier for you to manipulate with it, because you may not be able to manipulate with it when you have it as a data frame. It's possible, but it may be somehow cumbersome, it may be somehow difficult. But if you know how to extract your interest, your data of interest, your column or row of interest, and save it in a new variable, then you can do anything. I can calculate average percentage for this now, because I already extract it and I save it in a different file. So do you get that now? So the same way goes for, what we did here is only for column, score, one for score, just one column. You can do it for multiple column also. Look at it. So what we did here is for score and release here. You can do it and you can save this. You can save it, maybe you could save it review underscore score underscore release here. Anyone. So by so doing, you can plot a graph of this versus this based on whatever. So we are still going to do how we can do our plotting mathematical stuff, but I'm just showing you now how you can work on all your data. You can do everything, right? So let me try something. I want to try something. Let me first of all, let's see if it's going to work. I want to see. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I just want to check something. I thought as much is not going to work. Okay, so let's continue. So I believe if you understand up to this point. Likewise, you can also you may want to ask, what type of data are you working with? So type, and don't forget, instead of doing this, score, so we are looking at the score under the reviews. So you can say type in bracket reviews, this bracket score, it will give you. But better still, because you already save score, so why don't you just say, why don't you just type reviews, right? Because you already save it. It's still going to be the same thing. Because you already saved the score review into a new variable called review. So it's telling us this is a Panda core series. So it's telling this is a Panda, it's a data frame. That's what that means, right? So another thing, you can also call the similar pandas data frame method, mean methods. Yes, you can calculate the mean, average, everything of the data that you have. So for instance, if you look at the review, you can say calculate the mean for me. So for the unnamed, that means this column. So that is going to calculate the average for each of them for you, right? So for the unnamed, the average is 100.00. The average of the score is 7.5. The release year, so of all the years that are there, the release year there is 2012. Release month, the average is this. Release day, this is the average. Did you get the point? So we can also do okay. We can also modify the ASCII keyword argument to mean in order to compute the mean of each row or each column. So by default, the ASCII is equals to 0, and we compute the mean of each column. Yes, you can as well change that. So we can also set it to 1 to compute the mean of each row. So if you put what we did here, the default of the ASCII is 0, and that is why it's computing for the column, right? The same manner, you can also do the average for each row by setting your ASCII to be equal to 1, right? So because if you look at the row, because we only have 3 rows, that's why it's showing us this. But for the column, and because we have add, it's giving us what? It's giving us the first 5. The another function that is very easier to work with is describe. Yes. So when you say review.describe, it's going to calculate for you to give you the number of count, the mean, right? Count, mean, standard deviation for each of them. Can you see? So the standard deviation of the count is 58.16. For score, it's 1.6. Release year is 0. It's not showing order for us because others are not numbers. Let me show you. You know, these ones are not number. There's no way you can calculate the average score for what is not a number. That's why it's only showing us this, because these are the ones that are number. So when you click on describe will give you even the 25% quartans or contract, or what they call it. It will give you 50, 70, even the maximum. So it can give you a lot of information just using the word your data. That's review.describe. It will give you that information. I use this method a lot when I'm working with, even with my simulation and post-simulation results, the RMS, DRMS, it's because for me to calculate the average of over 100,000 values, it takes time. I don't need to stress myself. All I need to do is just put my data in Excel CSV. Once I do that, I import it on Python. So from Python, I can plot my graph. I can calculate the average and standard deviation for all the 100,000 values that I have without stress. Just put your data.describe, it give you that straight without any stress. So it can also calculate the correlation, yes, between each of them for you. The correlation between them, it can give you that to you. So for instance, now, if you look at score, right? This is the score. So the correlation between score and unnamed is a negative correlation. The correlation which is called to score, yes. Because the year of release is a number, is not a number. That's why it's not available. But for the month, it shows the correlation between score and the year of release, right? It's negative correlation. What that means is possibly when the score is increasing, the year of release or the month of release is decreasing, right? If you look at the score and the day of release day, it is positive correlation. That means when score is increasing, day of release is also increasing, but the correlation is too slow. It's too small. Yeah, I mean correlation stand from 0 to 1, positive 0 or negative 0 to 1. So when you have positive 0, that's positive correlation. But if the value is close to 1, that means there is a pronounced correlation. But so this can also give you, for instance, now they can give you data from the hospital. Okay, what is the correlation between people that are taking chloroquine, right, and the type of food that they eat? I'm just giving that as an example. I know we have a lot of pharmacy students. So you can use this, okay, from based on your data. What are data for people that are taking chloroquine and their data for people based on the food that they eat? When you do that, it can tell you, okay, the food that they eat has something to do with the effect of chloroquine in their system, either positive or negative correlation. So you can use that function as well to extract information from. So all these things are just minor things that you can do with you can do with pandas on your data. We are not even talking about you calculating regression, plotting graphs, and the rest. Yeah. So another thing I also have is we can also perform mathematical operation on series. Yes, I give that example. Remember this example for review underscore. Let me show you. I'm trying to show you. Can you see? You can perform mathematical operation, but you can only perform mathematical operation for an integer or a float, but not for a string. Don't forget. So let's say this is so we are looking at review score the first 5. So we can decide to divide the value by 2. Can you see? Divide by 2, like we did the other time. We multiply by 2. So you can do that for any integer or float data in your. In fact, it's even showing you. It is name for data type is float. It's float. Can you see that? So all those stuffs are the things you can as well do on your data. And also we can also perform Boolean indexing in pandas, right? So you can as well do all this indexing stuff on Panda. Let's just run through this. So let me just some explanation. Now that we have gotten a bit of the pandas basic down, let's move towards the meat of our analysis. We saw earlier that the mean of all the values in the score column of review is around 7. Yeah. Remember the let's go. I think I calculated that for score. What is the mean for score? Yeah, 7.5. Right. What if we want to find all the game that got an above average? Yes. Now we are now going into more analyzing your results. So if the mean of score is 7.5, how do we get the games that score above average? Right. So what you are trying to do now is now we are creating a new. Now look at this. So score. Now what we want to do is we want from the scores from the game. We want to extract every game that has the average is 7.5, right? But we want to get information about the games that has above 7, right? So what we do there is we now give a new variable, score underscore filter equals to reviews score that is greater than 7, right? So let's so we've assigned. So let's look what is in score now, right? So can you see? Now can you see? So this is so what that is saying is now that is for index 0. The game in index 0 is true. That means it's above 7. For 1, it's also true. up to 4 is true. But for game 166 and 167, their score is not up to 7. Can you see that? Their score is not up to 7. So can you see how we are able to say, okay, how many of them actually meet average? How many of them falls below average? Right. So you can as well filter. So you can, so let's do a review. Now, so what we did now is this. What we did, so now, what is what now? We want to filter this and want to assign. So let's give a variable to all the games that fall, that have good score above 7, right? You know what we did there is to see true or false if either each column is up to 7 or not. So true means they're up to 7, false means they're not up to 7. So true means they are equal, either equals to 7, so they are more than 7. While false means they are less than 7, right? So to filter those games, we just put filter underscore review. So review into brackets score. What that means is everyone that happen to be true in review, they assign to filter underscore review. So when we take the first end of this, it shows, can you see? If you look at this, 1 to 4 must be in this list. Yes, because they meet up, their value is more than. So if you look at this from 1 to, if you look at how many is this? Let's look how many it is. Let me check how many it is. Let's what is it? Filter, right? Filter review. So filter review dot shape. So out of 200 reviews, only 134 of them actually have a score that is more than 7. Can you see that now? So if the company is saying to you, okay, give us information if how many people are using, is our, at least if you have, if more than one, if 134, it's more than 7. The company can still promise them their game is doing great. And they can decide to say, okay, let's just keep it that way, or maybe we should improve so that by the time we do another review next year, we want our game score to be at least to be 90 to 95% above the average. But if, let's say in this case now, maybe just 30 out of 200 review, give them score that is above average. When you give your company the information, when you give them information, they say, okay, our game is not really doing great because people are not giving us good score. Let's think of what we can do to improve the score for the next 1 year. So those are the informations you see, when they got this information, when they got the data rather, they didn't have the information, but you working on the analysis will be the one to supply the information. I'm not even talking about company now. Let's talk about the pharmacy settings, right? There are people that do social determinant of health, right? People that do, maybe you are trying to do a review of drugs. And many of you may find yourself in clinical trials and the rest. These are the things that will be useful for you to analyze your data. That is the way it is. So you can as well do the index like this. And let's look at the first 20. So you can do a new index. So there is no limit. And you can as well do offsetting like we have done in the past, right? On all your data, like the way we've done in the past, for all your data. So that's all that few things you can do. So those are the few things you can do. I want you to try more on pandas, right? I'm telling you, at least if you are good in Panda, I can tell you there is no data you can't analyze as far as Python is concerned. You understand? Because once you're able to convert your data to a data frame, continue working on it. I'm telling you, you can apply other packages, scikit-learn, SciPy, every other thing to your data, but at least you can use on data frame. But once you're able to work on data frame, I'm telling you, you can do any analysis on your data frame. Do we have any question from anybody? I think we are going to close earlier today. Any question from anybody? Maybe something is not clear. Oh, okay, we have a chat. Who is that? Okay, somebody said no, sir. Okay. Okay. My week has been busy, so a lot of people actually know. I see you guys submitting your exercise. That's really great. I'm going to work on that, but before then, I'm still going to give an exercise today to work on, right? And also feel free to work on go to what we have learned, right? And we are getting there to our project. But before we do the project, I want to run us through that project, give us an example before I will set up into groups to work on our project. But it is always good to lay a very good foundation, I'm telling you. And that's what I'm trying to do for almost a month now, so that we can have a very good foundation of what we are doing. So do we have anybody with any question? Any question from anybody? Any addition or subtraction? Okay. If there is no question, that's great. So this is going to be the end of our class for this week. But please, I encourage you, take your time to go through all these things. I used to say it, they are volatile. I repeat it many times. If you ask Dr. Scott, hi Scott, are you there?
Yes.
I'm saying this thing is volatile. Was there any time you didn't consult your textbook to remember some things?
Wait, what were you saying?
What I'm saying is, I know, has there ever been a particular time that you have to consult your books to understand some code?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the same thing. The same thing. There has been times you have to go back to consult our book, and it's not as if you don't know it, you know it. But because maybe you have done that particular operation for a very long time, you just have to go and say, okay, what is happening? So that's why I always encourage you guys to please go again, right? And do something and try to refresh your memory and try to understand this. It is a matter of practice, constant practice. Please, thank you very much, guys. Thank you. So I don't know if there's anybody. So probably next week, either myself or Dr. Scott will be the one to take us, right? For continuation.